Today we're diving into how relationships shape us, challenge us, and teach us more about growth than we ever expected. And what this episode's gonna be about is like the power of reflection in relationship. Let's start with the hard truth. Not every relationship is meant to last, but every single one is meant to teach us something. For me, the biggest lesson came from understanding the difference between love and obsession. My real connection wasn't love, it was an obsession. And back then I thought it defined me. But looking back now, I see it as the moment that taught me to value compatibility over fleeting emotions. So the thing about love is it reflects your strengths and weaknesses. It challenges your ego, forces you to confront your insecurities, and teaches you how to communicate effectively, or at least how to try. For instance, I've learned that great relationships requires two things: communication and commitment to problem solving. Just like in business or personal growth, when a challenge arises, you ask yourself, can we solve this together? If yes, what's the strategy? If no, how do we gracefully part while we still have mutual respect for the other person? And to be honest, I actually had like a situation in the last time, and it really almost failed everything between us. But at one point I just said to myself, like, you know what, like, I expect from the person that this person knows everything about me and knows exactly like, oh, okay, you like how she should react and everything. And I was like in a very tough time where I was like working 90 to 110, 20 hours like a week. And I was like, she was complaining about I don't give enough attention. And I was complaining about like, you don't understand what I'm doing here, what I'm trying to build for us. And at one point I realized like what we are doing is just, we're just throwing things at ourselves. Well, the thing is, one thing that that's like very, very funny, like the video what I saw was like, instead of like saying like, you did this and I did this right, what about like, start to like, you know what, you did this right and I did this wrong. You did this right and I did this wrong. And suddenly, you know what you did wrong, right, and I did this wrong. It's like very funny, but it really helped. Like, it's kind of like we did some similar, somehow the same. Like we started to like say like, okay, you did this right and I was wrong there. I was like directly defending her like, hey, I can understand why you were like this. And she was like, yeah, I can understand like why you were like this. And this was something like that really helped us. And I think this should be a thing way more often, that you just respect each other and know that other person maybe has also problems that they have to go through, and that you sometimes have to sit in the shoes of the other person to understand the person. So emotional setbacks are inevitable. Whether it's a failed relationship or a lost opportunity, life doesn't stop. The key for me was always facing those setbacks head on, not avoiding them. I'll admit, I've had my fair share of tough days. Not that I'm not that everything is beautiful, but days where when I paused everything. But here's what helped: breaking the problem into like manageable steps. You don't have everything to be perfect, but what you can do, what the powerful tool is, like, firstly, sleep about. Firstly, what you can do is what a manageable good tool is like. And sometimes the most powerful tool is to just sleep on it. Seriously. Nothing resets your perspective like giving your mind the space to rest. How often I was, for example, the first day, like, I don't know, thinking like, oh, I'm so angry. And then I wake up after a good sleep and I just think like, okay, maybe it was like, maybe I overreacted. And as well, I also think like when you have the right woman, like, it will help you on all things about life. And I think like, a lot of people who watch a podcast or will watch a podcast are also going to be people who gonna struggle with the same things. And since they resonate with me, I guess they will also resonate a lot with like business things. And I think like a real good wife on your side is like very essential for your success. Building a business is tough. Life throws curveballs at you, but if you have a strong, healthy relationship by your side, it becomes your anchor. It's like you have a hard day and somebody's there who just believes in you and knows everything you do. And in one of the hardest phases of my life, the connection I had with someone who truly believed in me, well, She made all the difference. Relationships aren't just about love. They're about creating a foundation of trust and support that helps you weather in good times or in the biggest storm. And if there's one thing I want to take away from this episode, it's this: relationships, whether they end in joy or heartbreaks, are the mirrors that reflect our growth. Did you get something out of it or not? Did you get better or not? Learn from them. Be intentional about how you love and how you let love shape you. And in the end, I can just say, like, a lot of people like think a heartbreak or a failed relationship is something bad, but or that you did something bad or the other person did something bad. No, it just didn't work out, or at least not at that moment, and you needed more wisdom at the time that you didn't had. And I can just tell that it gets better with time. You just really need to reflect what was going on, Like sit on the bed, like I said, what was going on, what could you have done better, what could you have avoided, and how can you get better the next time. And well, I hope I could help you with this episode, and it was like, I'm being honest, I just did it as fast as possible, and we're not fully aware of what I actually want to say, because I'm it's really rough right now, and this is what I want. I want to share with you also my. That's why I say it. It's right now very rough, because I want to share with you that I'm also just a person, regardless if my life was at one time very successful and I'm diving into a successful life again. And after all, I'm somebody like everybody else. So let's be the brothers we never had, and let's keep growing together. I hope that this helped you in some way. Thank you.